Alright, I know I didn't play the sound, but we all heard that, right? The startup screen for a lot of consoles is like 50% of what most people remember about it. Like, I'm sure if you showed someone this video, they're gonna be able to sing along to the GameCube intro. They give consoles these just little bit more of personality, and some of these will absolutely never be forgotten no matter how old they get. There have been a ton of them throughout the ages though, so I thought today it'd be fun to rank them. I am only including consoles that only play it like every time you power it on, even if a game's not in, because Sega games used to do this, and it would absolutely be an S tier, but you have to have a game plugged in. The first console to ever have a jingle at the beginning of the power on cycle was the Sega CD, and man, this is so mid. It's just a little too weird for me. The vibes don't really hit. I don't like the rainbow effects on the Sega. I don't get what the background's supposed to be. It's not very memorable. It doesn't like excite me to play the Sega CD. C tier. In the same year, they released a Jaguar, and similar to the Sega CD, this one's just kind of weird. It's not very catchy. I'm only ranking it slightly higher than the CD just because of the Jaguar cube. I think it's really funny. It makes no sense, but it's kind of cool. All right, the Sega Saturn. This one's not that bad. I really like the wind chime. It's nothing special visually wise, but I mean, it's kind of cool. B tier. All right, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this one, but the PS1 has to be one of my least favorite PlayStation startup sounds. I think all of them are really, really good, but this is definitely their weakest in my opinion. It's just kind of grainy to me. The synth noise kind of gets on my nerves. It's nothing special visually, and I know what follows after this, and they're so much better. I can't rank it higher than any of the others, so I'm going to put it at the very top of B. The Jaguar CD gives me like that old Macintosh screensaver vibes from 2006. It's nothing special. Slightly better than the original. Still C tier though. The Sega Dreamcast. Man, did they nail this. The water drop sound effects, the whole vibe. I love it. This is absolutely one of the goated intros. S tier. The OG PS2, everyone knows. Those first three piano keys, the little zoom in on the skyscrapers, the fact that the screen shows your memory card blocks as the towers. It really doesn't get better than this. This is arguably top 3 of all time. It's so perfect. I think a lot of people enjoy the OG Xbox one, but this always gave me like Toonami vibes, if that makes any sense. I don't have any nostalgia for it. I'm not a huge fan. Top of C tier. It does not get better than this. If I lost my hearing right now, the day I die, I will still remember this jingle. It is iconic. It's great. Does not get better than this in my opinion. Number 1. Okay, so with the next generation of consoles, we got multiple different intros for some of the systems, like the Xbox 360. The first one's pretty good, a little long, but the second one is so on the dot perfect. It is the best intro they have ever had in the history of Xbox. Iconic, perfect, debatably top 5, S tier. The PS3 introduced the vibe they've been carrying for the past 20 years now. That kind of like symphonic intro with the waves. It started here, and it's not bad. It's pretty good. It doesn't hold a candle to the PS2, but it's definitely A tier. Pretty good stuff. I'm a little conflicted on the Wii. I don't know if I should count the very first screen you see, because this is an F. This is a health warning. I don't want to see this when I'm about to game. I don't care. But once you get past that screen, that first 3 couple of notes, that intro theme, does not get better than that. I would give that an S tier and that an F tier. So if I'm averaging the two, very top of B, low A. Console-wise, stuff starts to go downhill from here. Like the Wii U is just, it's fine. It's nothing special. I don't really remember the theme. I remember the logo. It's definitely worse than the Wii's. It's one of the weakest, but it's fine. B tier. The PS4's is pretty similar. I think it carries the same vibe as the PS3. It's still worse than the PS2. I still think it's a little bit worse than the PS3, so I'm going to put it slightly below it. I didn't own an Xbox One, so I looked up the intro for this one, and all I wrote was, the Xbox One is a watered-down version of the 360. It truly left no impression. That's all I had to say about it, and I find that really funny. So I'm going to give it like a D tier. The Switch is an F. This is terrible. There's nothing. I hate it. What happened? Bring back themes. This is abysmal. The PS5 did a really great job of improving the PS4 stuff. A little bit more atmospheric. I like the colors and the vibes a little bit more. Still slightly worse than the PS3 in my opinion. Still great though. The Series X and the Series S have the same vibe of the old THX logo, like that loud sound, and it's pretty cool. It's a little unique. Way better than the Xbox Ones. You can only go up from there. Pretty good. All right, going all the way back to the very beginning of handhelds, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. Iconic. Classic little jingle anyone can picture in their head. You can hear this image. Everything after it is just a little bit better, but it started here, so I have to give it an A. It's an absolute classic. Nothing touches this one. It hits all the right vibes. It's a great improvement over the original Game Boy. S tier for sure. I would argue that the OG DS is just as good as the Advance, but I'm full of bias. This is my first handheld. I can picture this sound every time I turn a DS on. It's so perfect. I really like the PS3s. My brother had a PS3 growing up, and every time I heard the jingle, I just got a little bit jealous that I didn't own one. I didn't want to play anything on it. I just thought the startup sound sounded really cool. And it's a similar vibe to the PS3s, but I think both of them are really great. The DSi is truly the perfect evolution of what it needed from the DS. You add a letter, you add an extra note. Perfect. Exactly what it needed. Easy A tier. Although startups seem to be a really dying breed, I'm going to hold out hope that they come back one day. They're iconic, they're always fun to reminisce on, and I swear to God, if the next Nintendo console boots into nothing again, I'm going to lose my mind.